Sometimes the sheriff's niece has to follow the trail of killers. They're dangerous men, and a girl has to be prepared for anything, but there's some varmints that are harder to track, and even a bigger problem, such as my brother Tag. Well?
Hi, Annie.
Don't hi-ya Annie me, young man. I've been chasing you for the past 2 miles. Now hand over that report card.
Aw, Sis.
Come on, Tag, hand it over. Where's Pixie?
Back there, in the bushes.
Well, you better get him. Uncle Luke's gonna have something to say about this.
Pretty bad, isn't it, Sis? The report card, I mean.
Yes, Tag, it was. The worst part of it was you're trying to hide it.
I thought if nobody saw it, everything'd be okay.
Oh, Tag, that's bad thinking. 2 wrongs don't make a right. They never have, and they never will.
I reckon I didn't think of it that way.
I reckon you didn't. You know, I remember someone else who didn't think of it that way one time. And they just about started a full-scale war in Diablo.
Gee, when was that?
Oh, about 2 summers ago, Tag. The year you and Uncle Luke were away on a hunting trip. I had ridden out of town to look for Lofty, who was supposed to be at the office attending to business. But I had a pretty good idea where you'd be. And when I reached Canyon Lake, I found I'd guessed right. Lofty was having such a good time while I did all the work that I decided I'd teach him a lesson.
Annie.
Leave all the work for me, will you?
Oh, Annie, have a heart, will you? Look, I'm sorry. Let me get my clothes on.
Okay, Lofty. Well, that certainly took you long enough. I thought it was supposed to be women that were the slow ones.
But you'd have trouble dressing, too, if somebody'd been taking pot shots at you.
Sounds like somebody else was in trouble.
It sure does. Look.
You're not hurt, Mr. Kenyon.
No, don't bother about me. Howard's been shot. He's back there on the road.
Howard Bishop?
Yes. We've got to get back there right away.
Take it easy, Howard. Mr. Kenyon will be here with a carriage in a minute, and we'll get you to a doctor.
It's too late for a doctor. Annie, I want you to do something for me.
Yes, Howard.
My daughter, Priscilla, she's in college in the East. Send for her.
Daughter? But where? How do I get in touch with her?
The information is in my will. I left her everything.
Oh, please, Howard, save your strength.
Take care of her, Annie. She'll need your help. She...
Can't believe it.
What happened, Mr. Kenyon?
Well, we were on our way into town to a stockholders meeting. A shot came from up there. Howard was hit and started to fall. I made a grab for him and lost the lines. And the team bolted and I lost control. Don't worry, Annie. I'll make all the arrangements about the funeral. You know, it's only thanks to you that someone isn't arranging for mine. They'll probably be sorry to hear about that.
They?
The lowland farmers.
You think they're responsible for Howard's death?
Well, I know they are. Jesse Clemens and his farmer friends threatened to use force to stop our hydraulic plans at the Yellow Rock mine.
I hope you're wrong, Mr. Kenyon. I know the farmers are worried about their land being flooded, but I can't believe Jesse's a killer.
Howard's dead, Annie. Somebody killed him or had him killed.
You mean just because he has controlling stock in the mine?
Exactly. Howard's death stops a vote on the hydraulic issue until we can settle his estate and distribute his mine stock.
Well, then he didn't tell you about his daughter either.
Daughter? What do you mean?
Before Howard died, he told me about a girl back east.
I never knew that Howard had married. I assumed he had no heirs.
And the people in the town don't know either. Whoever killed Howard's sure in for a surprise, because the decision about using water at the mine is in Priscilla Bishop's hands now. I sent the telegram tag, and 3 weeks later, quite a crowd was gathered to greet Priscilla Bishop. Everyone was guessing what she'd be like. But to look at Lofty that day, a person would have thought Jenny Lind herself was coming in on the stage.
Why, Lofty, I really declare.
And that getup, you look almost like a gentleman.
All right, go ahead and kid. But it isn't every day a young gal comes to Diablo. You know, come to think of it, after the stage comes in, you just might not rule the beauty roost around here anymore. Priscilla's a mighty pretty name.
Here she comes. Whoa.
Well, you don't mean to say that all you folks came to welcome plain little me. I'm so thrilled.
Miss Bishop, I'm Annie Oakley. Welcome to Diablo.
Well, thank you, honey. The pleasure's all mine, but, oh, what's that you call me?
Miss Bishop, you are Priscilla Bishop, aren't you? The new owner of the Yellow Rock mine?
Boy, are you confused, dearie. My name's Swartz. I came to work at the saloon. But, of course, if you have a mine lying around with no owner...
I'm
I think
Priscilla Bishop, Miss Oakley.
Gloria B., an Indian.
Wow! I've been mistaken for a lot of things, but never an Indian.
I'm sorry, Miss Bishop.
I know. You weren't expecting an Indian. I'm Howard Bishop's adopted daughter.
We just weren't expecting anybody so pretty, miss.
This is Lofty Craig.
My pleasure, Miss Bishop.
Priscilla, please.
And Russell Kenyon.
How do you do?
Oh, Mr. Kenyon. Howard mentioned you in his letters. You're a large stockholder in the mine, aren't you?
The largest next to you, Priscilla. I've been looking forward to your arrival.
Thank you. You're very kind.
Get Priscilla's bags, Lofty, and I'll drive her out to her new ranch.
Huh? Oh, yeah, sure, Annie.
You better leave those bags right where they are, Deputy.
What are you talking about, Frank? Why, you work at the mine? This Bishop's your new boss.
That's just it, Mr. Kenyon. The way I figured, a lot of boys ain't gonna like it working for a redskin.
Why, you...
Now listen, Frank, and the rest of us. If there's anybody that doesn't like it, they can start looking for a new job.
A redskin's got no business being a boss over a white man.
One more word, mister, and you won't worry about mine and gold. You'll be digging for your teeth.
You think so?
This gentleman coat didn't fit none too well anyway, Annie.
I'm sorry if I've caused trouble.
Oh, that's no trouble, miss. It's a real pleasure to stop talk like that.
Come on, Priscilla. I'll take you on out to your ranch. Lofty, tie a target to the back of the carriage, will you?
Sure, Annie.
I'm sorry about the little mix-up, Priscilla. Those miners are a hot-headed lot. Sometimes they take a little time to get used to things. But you'll find out. They're on your side.
I hope so.
Wouldn't have to be no sides, Kenyon, if you people would give up that fool idea for getting your gold out faster than normal.
You got your nerve, Clemens. Keep your comments to yourself.
Please, Jesse. There have been enough differences for one day. Miss Bishop needs a rest. She's traveled a long way.
I reckon she does need a rest, Annie. She's got a big decision to make for such a little girl.
She won't be intimidated by you or your lowland farmer friends. Priscilla owns the controlling stock in the Yellow Rock mine now. You can bet she'll make the right decision.
I hope she does, Kenyon. I hope she does.
What's he talking about, Mr. Kenyon? What is this big decision I have to make?
Well, it's nothing to be disturbed about, Priscilla. It's simply a matter of business. Howard made the decision before he was killed. I'm sure you'll want to carry out his plans.
Then you think that man, Jesse Clemens, killed Howard?
That's Russell Kenyon's idea. I don't think Jesse'd kill anyone.
But it does seem to make sense. If the farmers are so frightened of being flooded out.
Well, what are facts and what makes sense aren't always true, Priscilla. The truth is sometimes hard to find. You know, no one in town even knew that Howard had a daughter.
Keeping it a secret was my idea, not his. My parents were killed when I was 3 by white renegades. He took me in, adopted me, raised me as a daughter. When he settled here in Diablo, he sent me east to school.
You mean you haven't seen him in all these years?
Oh, yes. He'd come east to visit when he could.
Well, I guess I'd better get back to town and let you get acquainted with your new home.
Well, I'll be in the mining office tomorrow. I'll probably see you then.
All right, Priscilla.
Oh, Annie, is that you? Come on in. What do you want?
Just a word, miss. My name's Jesse Clemens.
Yes, I know.
What I'm going to say won't take much talking, but I want you to listen good to every word.
Are you trying to threaten me?
No, miss, I sure ain't. I just want to tell you some plain facts about what'll happen if you go ahead with hydraulic mining.
I've been told about that. The drainage water will inundate the lowland farms. Is that what you mean?
Them's fancy words, miss, but you sure heard right. It'll flood every one of us farmers out, and we don't aim to let that happen.
Even if it means another killing? And this time just an Indian?
Look, miss, I ain't one to be worrying over skin color, but I'll fight any force, white or red, that threatens to destroy my land.
Have you finished?
No, there's just one more thing you ought to get straight.
Yes.
I didn't kill Howard Bishop. Good day to you, miss.
It's very simple. Either we use water methods or we let the men go and close the mine down entirely. We just can't get enough tonnage out by hand anymore.
I realize that.
Well, it seems to me that you'd want to respect Howard's wishes. After all, he was doing it for your people.
My people?
Oh, yes, yes. Howard intended to devote all the profits from the Yellow Rock mine to the Indian tribes in this area. Provide food, shelter, opportunity. All the things that the white men took away in the wars. You know how strongly Howard felt on this matter. Seems apparent after all he did for you.
The farmers, Mr. Kenyon. Their lands and their homes.
Anyone think of the Indians' lands or their homes?
No, I'm afraid not.
It's your chance to make up for it by helping them just as Howard planned.
Please, Mr. Kenyon, let me have a few more days to think it out.
Certainly. But remember, Priscilla, you can't run a business on sentiment. Someone is bound to suffer. However, you will let me know your decision as soon as possible.
Of course.
Well, did it work, Kenyon?
Yeah, she says she'll have to have a few more days to think it over.
Priscilla!
Where you heading?
To try and think things out, Annie. I'm afraid college didn't prepare me for making a decision that has to hurt someone. The farmers on one side and the miners on the other. I just don't know what to do.
I'm sure you'll make the right decision, Priscilla. Just give yourself plenty of time.
I'm going to.
I'd sure hate to be in her shoes.
So would I. No matter what she decides, there's going to be trouble.
Gosh, Priscilla was really in the middle, wasn't she, Annie?
She sure was, Tag. And she spent a lot of days trying to make up her mind. Naturally, she wanted to carry out Howard's plans about helping the Indians. And everything that Russell Kenyon had told her kept going over and over in her mind. Finally, she decided he was right. Someone had to be hurt. And this time, it wasn't going to be her people. And you've made up your mind you're going ahead with the hydraulic plans.
Yes, Annie, I am. I know there's going to be trouble, but I'm afraid that's the way it'll be.
Priscilla, will you come with me for a few hours? There are a lot of things I'd like to show you that might make a difference.
All right, Annie. Just for you, and I'm not going to change my mind.
Oh, maybe you won't, but at least give me a chance. I showed Priscilla acres and acres of farmland stretched out over the valley. And looking down, she could see the vast areas. We rode through the land that the farmers had spent their lives cultivating, and talked with the men who had transformed a once barren desert into productive soil. The women, too, told us their feelings and how dreams for themselves and their children became reality with the growth of the valley. By the time we got back to the Bishop Ranch, Priscilla had changed a lot of her ideas about the lowland farmers. But it wasn't until then that I found out the one thing that still kept her from changing her mind. She told me what Kenyon had said about Indian conditions and what Howard Bishop planned to do with the mine's profits. Then you're doing this because you think it'll help your own people.
Yes. I have a chance to help the Indians. No one else is doing it.
That's where you're wrong, Priscilla. The U.S. government realizes what a great injustice has been done, and they're doing everything that they can to help them. With money, land, medical care, and food, they're doing much more than you could ever hope to do.
But Mr. Kenyon said that
He told you wrong. Everything that I've said can be proved. You can check with the Indian agents or even the tribes themselves.
I don't know, Annie. Why should he
He lied. Why, I don't know, but well, I intend to find out. Think it over, Priscilla. And remember, 2 wrongs don't make a right. Oh, hi, Priscilla.
Morning, Annie.
You're in town early.
Too early, I guess. Mr. Kenyon isn't in the office yet.
Oh, here, sit down.
Thank you. I came to tell him my decision. You were right, Annie. I realize that now. 2 wrongs don't make a right. I've decided not to use hydraulics, even if it means closing down Yellow Rock.
You'll gain a lot of friends by your decision, Priscilla.
Mr. Kenyon will be upset, though, but as he said, someone has to be hurt. And it'll be a lot easier for the miners to find new jobs than for the farmers to clear new land and build new homes.
Mail came in, Annie. Oh, hi, Priscilla.
Hello?
Say, there's a letter here for you. I was going to run it out to the ranch.
What is it, Priscilla?
It's a letter from Howard that must have reached school after I left. They sent it back here. It was mailed the day before he was killed. Dear Priscilla, hope you're well. We are very busy here. The survey proved... I don't understand this.
What's wrong, Priscilla?
Here, Annie, read it.
The survey proved conclusively that hydraulic mining would flood the lowlands. So I've decided against it. The mine can continue to operate, though the profit will be much lower. I expect some opposition at the stockholders' meeting tomorrow, especially from Russell Kenyon, whom I've already told of my decision.
Kenyon was lying about everything.
Money is a motivation for murder for some people, Priscilla. And Howard was the only person standing in his way.
You mean Kenyon killed my father?
Had him killed, yes.
I'll bring him in, Annie.
No, wait a minute, Lofty. This letter proves him a liar, but it doesn't prove him a killer.
Proves it to me.
I know, but you're not the jury. No, we've got to find a way to get more proof. I think I know a way that we can make Kenyon show his hand. But we'll need your help, Priscilla, and it'll be dangerous.
I'll do anything, Annie.
Lofty, see if Kenyon's in his office yet.
No, it's still closed up.
Good. Sit down, Priscilla, and write what I tell you. Mr. Russell Kenyon, have reached my decision. We'll meet you at the ranch. Signed, Priscilla Bishop.
She's there like the note says, Kenyon. You sure you're going to need me again this time?
Only if she doesn't decide our way. If she does, you won't get this signal.
I still think it's a wrong move pulling the same stunt you did to get Howard Bishop.
You're paid to shoot, not to think.
All right. You're the one that's got to talk your way out of it, not me.
Come in, Mr. Kenyon.
Thanks, Priscilla. I'm sorry I'm a little late. I had a little business to attend to in town. Your note said that you'd reached a decision.
Yes, that's right.
And?
And I've decided not to use hydraulics.
And you're going to let your people down in spite of Howard's wishes.
I'm afraid that's the way it's going to be.
Yeah, so be it. Tell me, have you notified anyone else of your decision?
No, no one. Why do you ask?
Well, it's only that I think that we ought to let the other stockholders know first.
Oh, that's only fair.
Then we'll ride into town if you care to.
Might as well get it over with.
Yes, we might as well.
I'll ride with you if you don't mind. I can pick up my horse when we get back.
All right.
There goes our hired killer, Annie. Right according to plan.
Right into Ambush Canyon, too. All set up by Russell Kenyon. See, you got the reins this time, Kenyon. No sense taking a chance on another runaway, was there?
What do you mean? What was all the shooting about, Annie?
That was just your plan going wrong. We've got your hired killer.
Hired killer? I don't know what you're talking about.
That's what we're talking about. Take a look.
I've never seen that man before in my life.
Save your breath, Kenyon. Your boy here talked. Said you hired him to kill Howard Bishop. You're all through.
You can't prove it.
I think you better get on the ground, Kenyon. You're less trouble down there.
Actually, he didn't say a word, Kenyon. He's too full of water. Your plan worked real fine, Annie.
Thanks to Priscilla.
I'll have to admit I was a little nervous.
Let's get back, Lofty, and tell the people the mine's going to operate as usual, without the water that'll ruin the lowland farm.
Yeah. I think some of the folks are going to want to come around and apologize to their new neighbor. Keep them covered, Annie. I'll get the horses.
Gosh, Annie, that was quite a story. Now I see what you mean about two wrongs not making a right.
That's why I told it to you, Tag. But I've still got to show your report card to Uncle Luke. Hey, Tag, did you see what I did with that card?
Sure, you put it in your pocket.
Yeah, but it's gone.
Yeah, it fell out way back in the road. I was so interested in your story, I plumb forgot to tell you about it.
Forgot? Why, you little Kyle.
Howdy, I'm Johnny Terry. Welcome to the Annie Oakley Show, brought to you by Westerns on the Web, sponsored by Wild West Toys. The Annie Oakley Show aired from 1954 to 1957. There were 81 half-hour black and white episodes, starring Gail Davis as Annie Oakley, Brad Johnson as Deputy Sheriff Lofty Craig, and Jimmy Hawkins as Tag. Get ready for another episode of Annie Oakley, brought to you free by westernsontheweb.com.
Bullseye! Annie Oakley hits the entertainment bullseye every week with her hard riding. Shooting. And suspense.
Boy, sure been quiet around here.
Oh! Tag, Oakley, that needle never touched you.
Oh, don't.
After saying it was quiet.
You hankering to spend some time in jail, Dooley? Get that collar off of him, Tag, and take it inside.
Oh, Dooley just feeling good, Annie, just like everybody else in Diablo. Seeing as how we're all going to get rich.
Well, that's still no excuse for shooting up the whole town. And I think you're being just a little bit previous, too, Buckhorn, about being rich.
And he's right. Till the mining company gives the word, we've got no guarantee that there'll be a strike in the new outcrop.
Don't be a pessimist, Wiley. The old Lame Coyote mine is coming back to life again. And there'll be rivers of gold flowing right here through Diablo.
Rivers of gold, huh? That's plumb poetical, Buckhorn.
Yeah, well, I'll make a fortune on the stage alone, just hauling people in gold, instead of starving along on a mailing contract with scarcely no mail.
I sure hope you're right, Buckhorn. But no more celebrating until we get the news.
How are you going to make a fortune when you're only the manager and Mike Dennis owns the line?
But didn't Mike give me a quarter of the profits when he struck it rich and then moved to Boston to pick up some of that there Eastern culture? Yes, sirree. And a quarter will be plenty when the Lame Coyote opens up again.
Buckhorn sure deserves some good years after all the bad ones he spent managing that stage line.
Yeah, he sure does.
Find out anything, boys?
Plenty. They're expecting a messenger with good news from the mining company.
That won't do us much good, seeing the company owns all the land.
Everything in town will be booming, but most of all, the stage line.
So?
So we're going to take it over.
But how do we do that?
Being a stranger in Diablo, Morgan, you can carry a message from the mining company just as well as anyone else. Only it'll be the wrong message.
Buckhorn's mighty late getting back, Tag. I think I'll ride out and see if the stage broke down. You want to come along?
Sure do. I'll race you out of town.
Okay.
That'll be him.
Reach, stranger. Keep your mouth shut and you won't get hurt. Get this rig under cover, boys.
Take him into camp.
Well?
According to this assay report, the Lame Coyote's going to be a bonanza again.
According to these papers, my name's Kramer, and I'm the manager of the mine.
Look, Tag.
What in the world? The stage. But what's the other thing? A girl!
But where's Buckhorn? Something mighty peculiar going on. Come on. How about stopping a minute?
How about minding your own business? Oh, the unmitigated impudence. Why, you savage!
Yes, I know. Whips are nice and ladylike, but guns aren't. Now, I just want you to tell me one thing, and that is, what are you doing up there, and where's Buckhorn?
Here I am, Annie. Leastwise, what's left of me. This is the end of the world.
Sure some odd goings-on, all right.
Odd? Odd ain't the word for it. That up there ain't just a girl. She's my boss.
Your boss?
Yeah, Mike Dennis's daughter. It says so right here in the letter she just brung out here from Boston. Mike said he made the mistake of giving her too much culture, and it spoiled her rotten.
Father did not tell you to discuss me in public, you uncouth lout.
You see what I mean? She thinks she owns the world, her pa says.
Just cool down, Buckhorn, and tell me what she's doing out here.
Well, her pa said he couldn't handle her, so he cut off her allowance. He gave her the stage line, though. Now he wants me to teach her how to earn her own living and get some sense.
Yes, he did give me the stage line, Mr. Buckhorn. But if you go on like this, perhaps I'll decide to engage another manager.
And she can do it too, Annie, right now when we can get rich.
What is that fancied-up stagecoach back there?
Oh, they call that a tally hole. The dudes ride around in it, get nowhere. And she wore out horses driving it for the hijinks. So Mike just sent the dadgum thing out here to use for a stage.
My dear, you simply must have another cup of tea. It's
Who's
so
that?
Well, it ain't a who, it's a what. It's a bird, a big-nosed critter, meaner than poison. The funny part about it, it talks better English than I do.
Which is hardly a compliment, even to a parrot.
A parrot? A real live parrot?
How do you do, sir? My name is Ronald.
Mine's Peg. Glad to meet you.
Meet you. Meet you. Meet you, meet you, meet you.
If you've quite satisfied your curiosity, perhaps you won't mind if my man and I go on our way?
My man, that's me. You see what I mean, Annie? What on earth am I going to do?
Well, I guess you better just string along with the mine opening up. See you in town, Buckhorn.
All right, if you say so.
Sure is tough on poor old Buckhorn.
Yeah, he'll have fun with that parrot.
What a mess. What an unspeakable mess.
Oh, shut up, you loudmouth cousin to a chicken. I don't have to listen to your sass.
I don't have to take your sass.
Buckhorn, don't you dare teach Ronald your vulgar expressions. This room is positively revolting.
Well, it looks all right to me. See, I've been living back here behind the stage office for the last 25 years.
You never cleaned it once.
See, maybe you'll be more comfortable over at the hotel.
When Father cut off my allowance, he meant it. I haven't any money.
Well, then the only thing for you to do is to bunk here, and I'll bed down out in the office.
How much does the stage line bring in a month?
Well, on a good month, I'll clean up around $40.
$40?
Yeah, but it's going to be different now. You see, when the mine opens up, like I told you, we'll be rolling in money.
Money, money, money.
Buckhorn, Miss Dennis, the man from the mining office is here. Annie says to come right out.
Whoopee!
Whoopee! You catch on fast, Ronald.
Whoopee!
Well, when did they start mining, Annie?
We've been waiting for somebody from the mining company for an awful long time, Mr. Kramer.
We sure have.
Hey, I don't think the news I'm bringing is what you expect.
What's the matter?
We had great hopes, but the assay didn't prove up.
You mean you're not going ahead?
Afraid not. It isn't worth it.
Well, maybe the assayer didn't know his business. Now, I saw samples of that ore, and it was almost pure gold.
It looked all right, but you can't always tell from the looks. That's why we have assayers.
Rolling in money, indeed.
I'm sorry to be carrying bad news, but the company sent me, figuring it best to keep folks from counting on something that's not going to happen.
If anyone is interested, my franchise and stage line are up for sale.
Oh, wait a minute. You don't mean that.
I most certainly do. $40 a month. My father didn't intend for me to starve. I'll sell it and get enough to pay my fare back to Boston.
And what about Buckhorn's job? He spent the greater part of his life nursing that stage line along.
Buckhorn's problems aren't my concern.
Well, Annie, what am I going to do?
She'll have a tough time getting a buyer.
She'll get no help from anybody in Diablo.
Say, maybe if I was real nice to her and worked real hard, maybe she'd change her mind. And something might still turn up, even if it wasn't a lame coyote.
I'll help Buckhorn.
Good idea, Ted. Hey, listen, Lofty, just because she's being ornery is no sign that we have to be. Let's all help her.
Right.
We'll have this place spick and span in no time, Miss Patricia.
We'll give you a hand, Miss Dennis.
Give me a hand. What for?
Out west, we believe in being neighborly.
Nonsense. You're just trying to soft-soap me, so I'll change my mind for Buckhorn's sake.
Well, wouldn't you call that being neighborly?
So Patricia Dennis will sell out dirt cheap.
You're not very smart, Morgan. Suppose I went in and bought the line, and in a few days it was worth a mint. Lofty and Addie'd be asking me questions I couldn't answer.
But how are we going to get it? We can't keep Kramer on ice forever.
It happens I know something about the franchise. We'll get it by default, that's how.
Lofty, I've been thinking. It's funny about that mine manager coming here.
Funny? Yeah, but as funny as breaking a leg. Every leg in Diablo.
Yeah, but why did the company care what we were hoping for in Diablo? And what's more, how'd they know?
Just figured it out, I guess.
Well, then why did they send a man all that way in a buggy when they could have written a letter?
Letter would have been easier, all right, but...
Annie, Lofty, come on outside. It's the funniest thing you ever saw. Hurry up.
Buckhorn.
Oh, I can't help it. It was all her idea.
If you'll please get out of the way.
All I'm supposed to do is to took this blame horn so that the whole shebang will look classy. Then maybe somebody will buy the line. Well, laugh. I don't see anything funny about it.
Don't blow unless I tell you. The horn frightens them.
I wish I could get dressed up like Buckhorn and blow that horn.
New stagecoach. She's using it on the regular run. She must have the mail pouch. Get it.
Whip up them horses, lady.
Blow the horn! Blow the horn!
Throw him the mail sack and whatever else you've got.
Take it, you beast! And there's nothing else! Buckhorn, is it bad?
There's been times in my life when I felt better.
I'll get you back to town. Can you hold on?
I guess so.
Come in.
Try to be quiet.
How is he? Fever, the doctor said. But he's sleeping now.
Can we talk to you in the office?
I'll take care of Buckhorn.
Thanks, Patricia, for being so neighborly with Buckhorn.
What'd you expect? I'm not inhuman. But I'm more determined than ever to sell out the first chance I get.
You'll never sell if you don't keep the stage line running.
I'll keep it running. I'll do my own driving.
You'll need help. I'll ride gun guard with you.
But if you do that, Lofty, the gang may not try another holdup.
You sound as if you want them to.
Oh, I do. We've got to find out who's behind this and why. So let's set a trap for them.
A trap?
Sure. When you ride out, Lofty and I'll follow. Keeping out of sight, of course. And then when they show up, we'll jump them.
How charming. I just sit there and get shot.
No, they won't shoot if you don't. Good idea, Annie. The only reason Buckhorn got plugged is because he fought back.
Well, all right. But the sooner I get out of this jungle, the better I'll like it.
She's ornery, but she's got spunk.
If we could only talk her out of selling. It'll kill Buckhorn to lose that stage line.
Yeah.
glad to see you.
What happened?
I ran into a bunch wearing masks. They started throwing lead at me.
Where are they?
Well, they took off as soon as they heard you coming. Must have been the same gang that shot Buckhorn.
Could be. We'd better get back, Lofty. Why don't you come on with us, Wiley? We're riding herd on the stage.
You bet I will. A man isn't safe around here these days.
Two holdups. The stupid, blundering idiots. Of all the incompetent, unreliable.
Take it easy. I think I can guess. You were held up.
You think? And where were you?
Seems like the gang split up, Annie.
Yes. I'm sorry, Miss Dennis. It just couldn't be helped. Wiley, why don't you ride with her to finish the run? Lofty and I'd better stay here.
I'd be very happy to.
Finish it. What's the use of that? They took the mail pouch.
Well, if you don't finish the run, it'll look like the line is out of business. Then you'll never be able to sell it.
Well, all right. And I'm sure Mr. Wiley will give me better protection than you did.
You're not very likely to be held up twice in the same day.
Lofty, that gunfight of Wiley's could have been a decoy.
That could have been. Ah, Wiley's a respectable rancher.
But everybody knows he's lost a lot of money gambling lately.
Why would he be holding up a poverty-stricken stage line?
I don't know. But I aim to do some scouting around his ranch. Lofty, look. Buggy tracks way up here off the road.
Sure are. How do you suppose...
They're on Wiley's spread. Come on. Here's the mine manager's buggy.
And that's Wiley's shack.
Lofty, there's something big behind this, and Wiley. We've got to find out what and get the goods on it.
Yeah, but how? We just rushing those hombres until we know what we're after.
I've got an idea. Let's get back to town.
And then they canceled the franchise. 3 times and it's out.
3 times and out. 3 times and out.
Oh, we got to save the franchise. We got to keep it.
Buckhorn, you should be sleeping.
Oh, we got to keep the franchise. Oh, we're going to keep it, too, huh? Oh, we lose it 3 times and... Oh...
Take this.
Now, we'll keep it. I know we'll keep it.
3 times and out.
Hush, Ron.
Yeah, but...
You talk too much.
Now, what's this big idea?
A telegram to the mining company to find out if that report was on the level.
All right, then what?
Well, I gotta admit, I don't really know, Lofty, but after seeing that buggy out on Wiley's place, I think that's the first thing we ought to clear up.
Miss Patricia says to leave Ronald here tonight. He keeps waking Buckhorn up.
3 times and out.
She's sore about being held up again. She's leaving Doblo tomorrow.
Leaving?
Yep, going back to Boston. Says she's giving up the line.
Well, that's the end of Buckhorn.
Not necessarily. Here, Tag. Take this to the telegraph office. Now, quick.
All right.
We ought to have an answer on that before she has time to leave tomorrow. Patricia, you can't leave now.
I'd like to know why not.
We're waiting for a telegram that may change everything.
No, I'm driving to Mineral City, and I'll sell the horses for enough to get back east.
But Buckhorn...
He's better this morning. I'll send him some money from Boston.
Tag! Miss Patricia's letting me ride with her and blow the horn.
The mail patch 3 times, and they cancel the franchise.
Hear that? He's picked that up from Buckhorn. Lofty, go on in and find out if it's true.
Let them cancel the franchise. I'll carry no more mail pouches.
Now, take it easy, Buckhorn. Easy.
It's true, Annie. The contract says if we miscarry the mail 3 times, we lose it. And we've missed twice right now.
Sorry, but my mind is made up.
Well, I guess that's the end of the stage line. And me.
Better get back in, Buckhorn. Come on now.
You think you're pretty good driving horses in this tally-ho. I'll bet I can beat you to Mineral City driving the spare team and the stage.
And what will you bet?
Well, if I win, you keep the stage line for Buckhorn.
And if I win?
I'll be your lady's maid all the way back to Boston.
That should be very amusing. All right. I'll be happy to give you a driving lesson.
I'll hitch the spare team to the stage.
No, I'll do that, Lofty. You take a posse and go on out to Wiley's place and keep those men pinned down there.
Don't worry, I will. And good luck, Annie.
Thanks, Lofty. Oh.
Ready?
Just as soon as I get the mayo pouch. And if I win, we're going to keep that franchise for Buckhorn. All right, I'm ready to go.
I've been more than ready for quite some time. Who's going to give the starting signal?
I will. 1, 2, 3.
Telegram.
Not long, sister, but you're sure gonna have to wait.
Annie, Wiley had the real mine manager locked in the shack. The mine's a bonanza. It's going to open. Hey! Going to open! And we picked him up without any trouble.
Here's our telegram, Patricia. It says just what Mr. Kramer here told us.
I guess I owe you all an apology. But I'll make it up to Buckhorn.
Whoopee! Whoopee! Now you're talking like Mike Dennis's girl.
Whoopee! My dear, you simply must have another cup of tea. It's so refreshing.
Oakley. Hope to see you on down the trail, and come see us again on westernsontheweb.com.